Yes, if you haven't already heard about the tool discovered inside an active Qantas A380, it's news that surfaced in early 2024. However, upon discovery of the item, which had flown within the A380's engine for nearly 300 hours, an investigation was launched by the Australian Transportation Safety Board, or ATSB. And so today's video will go over the investigation's findings and how this tool went missing. Let's get started. 3 notes before we begin. First, the ATSB report references various different mechanics and technicians as it outlines the sequence of events. For those unfamiliar with aircraft maintenance, work is done by a team of mechanics/engineers under the supervision of a licensed aircraft maintenance engineer, what are referred to as LAMEs. These licensed technicians supervise the work of other aircraft engineers and sign off on work. They are the team leaders and carry the responsibility of ensuring the job is done. Since the term LAME is mentioned several times, we thought it best to get that out of the way. The other thing to mention is that the official report is quite detailed in the sequence of events. We'll do our best to summarise things, but if you want to get the full picture, we'll leave a link to the ATSB report in the video description. And finally, since our budget doesn't quite allow for a full reenactment of what happened, we'll be using A380 video and generic aircraft maintenance footage as we explain the report. But, moving on, the tool was found during a scheduled maintenance check at LAX on January 1st, 2024. The item was a 1.25-metre-long nylon tool. As you can see here, it was found wedged against the low-pressure compressor outlet guide vanes. This tool is used to turn the engine's intermediate pressure compressor during borescope inspections. It was determined that the tool had been left in the engine during previous scheduled maintenance at LAX on December 6, 2023. And so, between the 2 maintenance checks, the Qantas Super Jumbo had flown 34 cycles, totaling 294 hours, with the tool in the engine the entire time. While the tool was found to have been deformed by high-energy airflow, there was thankfully no damage observed to the engine itself. The aircraft at the centre of this incident is registered Victor Hotel Oscar, Quebec, India. The aircraft is about 14.5 years old at the time of making this video and has manufacturer's serial number 55. Powered by 4 Rolls-Royce Trent 900s, the aircraft was delivered new to Qantas in January 2011. The ATSB's final report adds a lot of detail for how the tool went missing. It all began with one technician leaving work early for a medical appointment and then proceeding on to 3 rostered days off. This took place on December 6th at 1300 local time. With this individual gone for the day, the borescope task was only partially completed and the turning tool remained assigned to this aircraft maintenance engineer, referred to in the report as AME1. Another technician, referred to as AME2, asked the lead engineer, the LAME, if the tools used on the borescope task required returning to the tool store. The LAME instructed the technician to leave the tools with the aircraft as the afternoon shift would complete the remainder of the task. AME2 and the support engineer were then reassigned onto other tasks. Due to the borescope task being unfinished, the LAME decided to remain at work until the task was completed and certified in the aircraft's computer-based maintenance log. The afternoon shift, which consisted of 2 aircraft maintenance engineers, commenced the remaining steps of the borescope task. One of these technicians had experience with the borescope procedure, while the other did not. The experienced technician operated the borescope, and the technician who was unfamiliar with the procedure operated the turning tool, the item that went missing and was left in the engine. The experienced technician asked the other if they wanted to view the images prior to reinstalling the borescope access plugs on the engine. It was at this point that the technician who was using the turning tool decided to leave said tool in the inlet, expecting to come back to the engine. This never happened. Later in the day, once the sun had gone down, the LAME requested that all tooling used for the borescope task be returned to the hangar tool store. The one remaining technician, AME2, went up to the inlet cowl to visually inspect that all tools were removed. Without using a flashlight, a protective mat was found and removed, but nothing else was found. Thus, the infamous turning tool remained. About 30 minutes later, the LAME conducted an inspection of the completed borescope task and conducted their own foreign object debris check of the inlet, this time with a flashlight, but the turning tool remained undiscovered. Tasks were marked by the LAME as certified, but they were unaware that the turning tool had not been returned. 30 minutes after that, another licensed aircraft maintenance engineer conducted the required second independent inspection. While the security of the engine borescope access plugs and lower engine area was checked, they did not inspect the inlet cowl. Shortly after, a third LAME came to perform end-of-shift task closure duties. It was this individual who was the first to be aware of the missing turning tool identified in the tooling report. This report is a snapshot of the tool store inventory at the end of the shift and captures tooling that has not been returned, to whom that tool is assigned, and what aircraft it is assigned to. After trying to track it down, this LAME informed tool store personnel that the turning tool was still in use by the second shift when the daily tooling report had been run, but no further action was taken by this individual. In the days following, prior to the A380's return to service, personnel were still aware of the missing tool. Eventually, on December 8th, tool store personnel emailed the tooling report to all LAX service engineers, LAMEs, managers and tooling personnel to remind them of the missing turning tool, noting that the aircraft was scheduled to depart later that night. Despite emails being sent to remind personnel of the missing tool, the service engineer, who was aware that the tool had been missing for several days, believed that the tool could not still be fitted to the aircraft. The service engineer did not view the tooling report and continued with their certification of the certificate of release to service. The jet returned to service the evening of December 8th. Despite the aircraft making several subsequent visits to LAX, there were no more searches for the tool. Ultimately, the ATSB ruled that there were three main contributing factors to this incident. 1. An aircraft maintenance engineer and a licensed maintenance engineer did not observe the tool was left in the low-pressure compressor case during their foreign object inspections. 2. The lost tool procedure was not commenced by the involved aircraft maintenance engineers when the tool was identified as missing. And 3. The service engineer certified a certificate of release, or CRS, with the tool unaccounted for. Again, there are many more details in the report that give an even better picture of what happened. But consider this video a medium-level summary of events. What do you think of how this whole thing took place? Share your thoughts by leaving a comment. Simple Flying publishes over 150 articles every week. If you're looking for the latest aviation news and insights, visit simpleflying.com.